Hello everyone, and welcome to our engagement module. Today we're exploring the concept of flow and what does it mean when people get into a state that they often refer to as being in the zone. Here's our mission. We're going to look at what is the psychology of flow and what are some of the things that correlate with having flow and how does flow actually work? What are the mechanisms? From there, we're going to look at how you can use an understanding of the mechanisms of flow to reverse engineer your day-to-day experience so that you have more engagement in your life. Let's get started. So first, one of the best ways for us to begin to think about flow is to think about what it's not. This golfing cartoon gives us a great example of what we would call the antithesis to a flow experience. Here you have this person who's at work, and while he's at work, he's daydreaming about being on the golf course, and while he's on the golf course, he's daydreaming about making love to his wife, and while making love to his wife, he's thinking about work and has work on the brain. This mindlessness or mind wandering is the opposite of what we're talking about when we look at flow. Flow is that state where you lose yourself because you are so fully present in what you're doing. And we put it in our engagement module because the more you understand how flow works and the more flow experiences you craft in your life, the happier, more fulfilled, and more engaged you'll become. So flow is defined as a state of intense absorption, a state of being in the zone. When we're in the zone, we tend to feel energized, fully involved and focused, and we tend to enjoy the activity that we're doing. And the research on flow was first coined by Dr. Mike Csikszentmihalyi, and we pronounce his name Csikszentmihalyi. And he was one of the first psychologists to research this state. He calls it a psychological state that accompanies highly engaging activities. He found that in every different discipline, there were examples of people being in flow. So we studied chess players and how they would immerse themselves in the game and how fully engaged and absorbed they would be, and just how many calories they would actually burn just through the mental game of sitting there because it requires so much focus and so much attention. People often find flow when they're painting, when they are writing, when they're playing a sport, when they're making music. This surfing example is a powerful example of flow because oftentimes any of those extreme sports, mountain climbing, surfing, diving, they require you to be fully present and fully engaged because at any point something might happen that would cost you your life. And so while it doesn't have to be that extreme, Dr. Csikszentmihalyi had found that people throughout their different day-to-day lives experiences would often have these moments of states of flow, and they would describe them with powerful words, words of positivity, words of full absorption. And what he found is that it tended to correlate with having also a higher sense of life satisfaction. So engagement is one of the early models within positive psychology of positivity, engagement, and meaning. And it was understood that engagement was a unique and a pathway towards happiness, meaning you could build more flow in your life, more engagement, and that would help you be happier in your day-to-day life experiences. One of the things you want to understand about flow is that it's not just about the activity, it's about the requirement of focus. Now, here's some of my examples between mindless relaxation and mindful flow. So this is one of my little knitting projects, and on one side you see the purple scarf that I'm knitting. When I am watching television or a movie with my partner and just relaxing late at night, if I want to wind down, I'll take out a scarf or a very simple piece of knitting to do because I could just do it mindlessly and it's very relaxing for me, this repetitive behavior. However, on the other side, you see the white knitting project. Now, this is a knitted hoopah that I am working on. It's a knitted in the round crochet piece that comes with instructions and manuals, and it requires me to count my stitches and vary my different hand patterns and knitting patterns in order to follow the instructions properly. If I miss a stitch, I'll put a hole in it that doesn't belong there. And it forces me to be mindfully, deeply in flow. So it's not the activity, it's the how is your attention and challenge and strength being integrated to make it a real flow experience for you. Sometimes people really confuse relaxation for flow. And what we want is to figure out how can we regulate our attention to make it more of a flow experience. So here's some questions for you to discuss. What are some of the activities that bring you that state of flow, that full absorption, that peak performance where you feel at one with what you're doing? Oftentimes, time stops and you just feel fully one with your task. That or any other comments or questions that you might have about flow.